Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Hey! This day we fight!
And that's for sure. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. Try it again, punk.
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to Ricochet Movie Fight Club number 100. So we've been doing this since the summer of 2020. Ricochet Movie Fight Club kind of started out as an opportunity for us to spend a Saturday and having a little fun when all the world's going crazy. So since then, we've had 37 winners out of 99 fights. And we thought it'd be fun for this week, for the 100th episode, to have a couple of the winningest fighters on there to duke it out between the two of them and see which one's the champion. So today I reached out to a couple of the winningest fighters. First up, we have a millennial who's always trying to get people to watch really sad current Japanese animation and Kurosawa movies. Welcome, Lydens. You know her as LC. How you doing, LC?
Hey, it's Leedens.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. It was a 50-50 shot.
All these years I've been saying, Lydens, you're so wrong about that answer.
It's fine.
Okay, fighting LC today, we have Dean, a man who, along with his wife Mindy, has been to a movie theater and a bar and a church in all 50 states. You know him as Eustace C. Scrub, and he almost deserves it. How you doing, Eustace?
Doing well. No, I've been looking forward to this, and it's good to have an opponent that, frankly, I've often agreed with your opinions, but I'm just afraid that today you'll probably get things all wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how it'll work. There'll be 4 rounds. I'll ask a movie question. You'll each have real quick to give your answer. And then I'll sound a bell. We'll start the timer. You'll have 4 minutes to duke it out. It'll be a free-for-all. You guys will just go crazy with it, hopefully have fun. And then when the timer's up, we'll ring the bell again. That'll signal the end of that round. So we're gonna do 4 rounds with the first section. And after that, we'll do a lightning round where they don't know what's gonna come. They'll have to think up the answer on the fly. So for first round, with 4 minutes on the timer, we'll get ready to start. You guys are ready?
Go.
Okay, so the first question is, who is the greatest director of all time? And
Okay,
ladies
well,
first.
we already know who I'm gonna say, so I'm going to say Akira Kurosawa.
Okay, who do you got?
Any reason for that?
I thought we announce it first and then we duke
Right.
it out.
All right, so who are you going with, Eustace?
I'm going with what most filmmakers have called the master. I'm going with Alfred Hitchcock.
All right. So here we go. You got 5 minutes on the timer. Let's have it. Find it out.
All
right,
right. Well, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So for me, the reason I like Kurosawa and why I think he's the greatest director is beyond his technical abilities, which are obviously great, is that the man made all sorts of movies and all sorts of genres. So, to go from like the samurai epics to like the adventure comedy to like the Shakespearean dramas and noir films or whatever you can think of, he's covered all of it. And he also told all sorts of like character stories. Again, if you're talking about like the honorable epic samurai all the way to like the peasants and like the shoguns and stuff. So he covers a lot of like characters. And I know there's all sorts of people who are say he's super influential because like things like Seven Samurai is often imitated and referenced in other movies, probably more than most things. But I mean, I think for me, a great director tells a great story and tells great stories about great characters.
Not to be too jingoistic here, but if we're talking about movies, we're talking about Hollywood, we're talking about what the world thinks of as the great American art. And there you have to go to the great American director, Alfred Hitchcock. Before Hitchcock, most people didn't know that there was anyone behind the camera. Hitchcock came in and people knew that there was a mind putting things together. He had a vision that people were able to catch. Yeah, people think of him as just being horror and suspense, but there's great comedy. Well, Hitchcock said Psycho was a comedy, but aside from that, he had great romantic comedies. To Catch a Thief, and captured small town life with films, and you know, I think, and there was just the Hitchcock touch that has often been imitated by people like John Carpenter and many others, but never really replicated. I think of one scene that kind of, you know, captures some of his greatness, and that's in Strangers on a Train, where the hero is, and I say hero, all the characters in Hitchcock are not pure evil or pure good, but the hero is a professional tennis player. And you see him in a match, and he's being followed by the villain. And you wonder where this villain might be. And then you see the audience for the tennis match. Their heads are going back and forth and back and forth. And you notice there's one face in the crowd, Bruno, who is staring straight at our hero. There are things like that that make him be known as the master. I think Kurosawa, quite a wonderful director. If you're going to have a pantheon, he's there, but I'm going to give it to Hitchcock.
Yeah, I think they're both extremely, in terms of like technical abilities and just plot, like visual elements that they do. I think they both have they're very proficient in it. My problem usually with Hitchcock, even though I love his stories, is like, I think a lot of his characters are kind of repetitive, especially his like female characters. I kind of see like the same type all the time. So I mean, they're fine, but I do think he repeats like the same type of characters in a bunch of his movies.
1 minute left.
Excuse me? And Kurosawa is wonderful, but frankly, there is some of his films are pretty dry.
Yeah.
Can be.
It's almost like he's a very strict Japanese man.
They are very hard watches.
Yeah.
And so as a Westerner, if I have a choice, although I've seen most films by both directors, just for a fun evening, I'll probably choose Hitchcock. I'll probably go with Rear Window, but I do love Yojimbo. It's a wonderful.
Yeah,
film.
you could have a laugh with Yojimbo and Hidden Fortress.
Yeah. But I still would go with Hitchcock. Is that a sound? Okay.
That's the end of that round. All right. How you guys feeling?
Good.
Yep.
A little weary, you know, just taking a few punches, but keep going.
All right, so you guys on the comments, you guys are watching this here, round one, see who won that, and we'll figure out who's winning this thing. So question number 2, let's see, I believe this is from Stad, who asked, what film has the worst Deus Ex Machina ending that ruins what was otherwise a fine movie? Okay.
I think if you took everything but this one plot device, you could say that Superman, motion picture directed by Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeves, is the best superhero film ever made.
Okay, so is that your answer, real quick?
My answer, and the problem is turning back time. That's my answer.
Okay, so and then Elsie, what you got?
I'm going with The Departed.
Part. Okay. 5 minutes on the clock, starting now.
Okay,
Alright.
so for me, I picked The Departed because up until the ending, I actually think it's a really well acted, real, well written, like Scorsese film, even if it's a remake. But like the ending, it was just Mark Wahlberg is like judge, God, executioner. It was completely unearned. He just comes out of nowhere and was like, yeah, okay. So even though it was like never a black and white film to begin with in terms of like morality, it was like they didn't have the guts to have the bad guy win and the good guy die at the end. So, Wahlberg just comes in as this like morality police, shoots the bad guy, and it's like the end. And, first, it's completely unearned. And second, I think most of the audience doesn't even remember who Mark Wahlberg's character is in the movie. You're just like, oh, okay, I guess that's the end. It was really random. It was extremely abrupt. Like, I couldn't believe that was the ending.
I'm going with the time travel at the end of Superman, where this Lex Luthor sets off the missiles. There's this horrendous earthquake, and there's destruction everywhere. But Superman's flying, and he's keeping the school bus from falling off the bridge. He's mending up errors. He's doing all these good things, but he doesn't realize that Lois Lane at the same time is coming to her death. And so Superman sees that Lois is dead. He does this trick in 1950s, in the silver age of comics. They always would just randomly give Superman powers that would fit whatever moment, which was really one of the awful things about that comic during that time. But they really handle Superman well. He's a hard character to handle well, just because he is he's flawless. He seems to be, except for the kryptonite. So it's hard to come up with something that where you can see his weakness and see him suffer. And so they came up with this thing of seeing Lois Lane die, which could be really a heartfelt, moving moment. If they went with it, if they decided to go that way, they could have really had a wonderful, horrible moment of cinema. Or they could have worked out some way so Lois didn't die. But instead, they have Superman able to spin or fly around the earth again and again. This somehow turns back time. But Superman doesn't turn back time to stop the missiles from going off and stop all the carnage that goes on. He only turns it back far enough that he can save Lois. And there surely are other people that have died that Superman lets die. But he does this.
Yeah, but they're not Lois, so I mean, whatever, right? Yeah, I mean, here's how I think about this, and I mean, it is like one of those crazy like endings, but I mean, Superman is literally God. The way I think about it, if there's anyone who could just literally do anything, whatever he wants, and I'll just be like, yeah, it's not great, but you are like literally a godlike figure. I'll take it for this sort of plot device. I mean, again, I just. If we're ranking it, I'm gonna go with The Departed because I accept that Superman is God. And he's
See, I like the Wahlberg character. I did notice him in the times before.
No, I think I was so disappointed because like I've seen the original story that it's basically
and I've
right?
seen it as well.
And I think I went in, I mean, like I knew how it's gonna end. And then the ending of this happened. I was like, why? Why did you change this? Why is this the thing you decided to change?
Yeah. No, and it might make a difference because I saw The Departed first and then I saw the original afterwards. But that didn't bother me. Jack Jack Nicholson's performance, that bothered me. It was a little bit over the top. That was the one thing in that film that bothered me. But the Duex Machina, I can never pronounce it right. That didn't bother me so much in that film. It really bothered me in Superman.
Superman is the Deus part. It's fine.
Yeah. God has his rules too. He can't make a stone so heavy that he can't lift it. So that's a theological argument too. But yeah.
And we'll call it good. All right, that's the end of that round. And ready for question number 3. What film best depicts a conversion of a villain into a moral or heroic person? I believe that one came from Hartman von Au. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Right.
There are probably more popular answers, but I'm just going to go with Spider-Man 2.
Who you
And
got?
which character was that? So you can spoil it for people who haven't seen the movie.
Oh, for Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
We'll put a spoiler alert at the beginning of this.
That's right.
You've already spoiled 3 movies.
I know.
I was thinking, the obvious ones are go like with Darth Vader or some of those, but thinking about it, I just decided to go with one of my favorite films, and so I'm going with Stasi Captain Gerd Wessler in The Lives of Others, who starts as a bad guy. It's hard to get worse than a Stasi captain who's surveilling people in East Germany. And
Well, you heard him. Okay, let's start it. Write it out. Tell us why.
okay.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah,
For me, it's I think it tells a great like tragic villain arc in one movie. Spoiler alert also for No Way Home. I'm not going to go too much into it. But it's like similar arc. It's great that you start off with he starts off as this ambitious, optimistic, almost like a role model really for Peter Parker, right? And as he descends more because he's corrupted by the AI as he's stuck in the arms. He does terrible things. Very obviously does very terrible things. But I like that what Molina was able to get across, and obviously that Sam Raimi was able to get across, that you still believe his coming back around and seeing he either has to pick one thing or the other, and he redeems himself at the end, right? He sacrifices himself for the city with the I think he destroys the nuclear fusion or whatever. I think that's what happened.
The thingy. Yeah.
Yeah, the thingy that he started really. And it's I'm kind of cheating here, but same with No Way Home. It's a case of there's a good side to him that's always there, and that it's actually very easy to bring him back if he especially with his interaction with Peter's always able to bring him back kind of thing. And I really, really like that. After all these superhero movies that's happened since Spider-Man 2, it's still one of my favorite ones because of the tragic villain story of Dr. Octavius.
And I love both of those films, but as you said, it is, whether it's really Dr. Octavius really changes anyway. It says the AI in him that's working. So it could be that it's really 2 different characters. So can you really say the character changes? You definitely can say that that Wessler changes in the lives of others because he has bought into the system. He has bought into the system that the state knows better what's good for individuals, and that's the priority for him. And you see as the film goes on, as he observes the lives of others, as he observes this young couple of artists, this man and this woman, and becomes invested in their lives. He knows that they are important as individual people. They are more important than the state. And at this time where we're seeing the state becoming more and more willing to make decisions for individuals and use great power to do so, it's a reminder that it should not be. And so Gerd eventually, he frees, he fakes he loses the information. He lets the couple go free, at a cost to himself. And so I think he's one of my favorites. I'm gonna sneak something else in here. I really wanted to go. I also thought about going with Anton Ego and Ratatouille.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite changes from someone you hate to, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I figured somebody was gonna go with Darth Vader. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like such popular answers for this, so I'll just go with something else.
Oh, I know. And,
Yeah.
And Vader, I would be happy with if you didn't have the prequels. That just it takes a lot of the fun out of that. So
1 minute left.
This is one of those questions where I think I would have been happy with like most answers. Like your answer totally like makes sense. I like my answer. I don't know. It's like, unless you really botch that like arc, and it's not like a character arc that's often done anyway. Usually,
Yeah.
I think now you see the hero to villain instead. It's very popular now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like, maybe it's too hard to make it believable to like
Well, I mean,
fully
really,
believe.
Ebenezer Scrooge, that's his story too.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that's been done. I mean, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, there's a good
That's
villain to
also
hero
that's
at the end, getting the raptors.
yeah, it would also be a Deus Ex Machina kind of.
It is that too.
Yeah.
But it's a good one. It's one.
Yeah. No, I remember thinking about it. I was like, I like it. I don't care. That's not bad to me.
Oh, that's right. Some of those make sense, so it's okay.
So moving on to round number 4. All right, what's the best movie to appear on cable or streaming and not on the silver screen? Yeah, let's go with Eustace first on this one.
Yeah, this is tricky what the definitions were for this, because I mean, did it never get shown on the silver screen, or was it a made-for-TV movie, or what was it? But I decided to go with The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It was one that.
Okay, wait, hang on, save it for your fight. All right, Elsie, what you got?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with a Charlie Brown Christmas.
All right, and I believe this one was by Hang On, was the member who gave us this question. All right.
5 minutes. I thought we were having 4. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, I think I said 4 at the beginning, but
okay.
we've been doing 5.
All right. There's kind of an interesting story behind The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. For a lot of movies in the last couple of years, there's been just because of the pandemic, there have been films that were meant to go on the screen, like Soul or things like that, that ended up just showing through streaming. But even before that, a couple of years before the pandemic, with the Coen brothers, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, it was originally going to be a Netflix series, and then they decided to make it into one film. And Netflix said, yeah, this is great, one film. In fact, we want it to be nominated for the Academy Award. So they gave it a real limited release in LA and New York. But I would have liked to have seen that on the screen. And it instead just went on Netflix. And I would have, it's a Western. It has some gorgeous grandeur in some of the shots, especially the Liam Neeson story, because it's an anthology. It's a lot of little stories that really do come together at the end. But instead, Netflix, in their wisdom, just had it on the little box instead of letting it go on the big screen. And it's a great film. And it annoys me that they handled it the way they did.
Yeah, there are tons of like Netflix streaming blah 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 movies, but I was like, well, like, let's think about it. I'm just gonna go something really random, but I love with Charlie Brown Christmas, just because I watch it every year. It's not a Christmas season without me watching it. Peanuts is like a huge part of like my like collection of books too. I love the jazz soundtrack. It's like really simple but nice animation. It's obviously a really wonderful story about the meaning of Christmas that anybody could watch. It's very digestible for all. Yeah, there are probably more sophisticated, complex movies I can go with, but I'm just gonna go with that.
I have to ask, this is outside the fight. Have you ever been to the Charles Schulz Museum in Santa Rosa, California?
Yep.
Okay, because that's my hometown. So
Oh, okay.
I used to see
Yeah.
Sparky at the ice rink. So
Yeah, well, a while back, right, when it was like threatened by the wildfire, I was like, oh no.
yeah.
But yeah, I watched Buster Scruggs. I really liked it too, but I think it's definitely one of those movies where I don't think it's for everyone. I watched it with a couple of people and they were definitely bored, but like it's my type of movie. But
yeah,
I mean, if we want to say like that, I think most people would like a Charlie Brown Christmas.
But see, I think Charlie Brown Christmas is a TV special. It may be the best TV special ever made, but it works best as a TV special. It works.
I don't know how to interpret this question. So
yeah, I know this is a strange question, but I think it's not a movie. It's a TV special, and it works wonderfully in that way. Just the coziness of popping the popcorn and having that around, the small screen is wonderful. But Buster Scruggs, though, there was one good thing about watching it and streaming, and that was my birthday during 2020. My daughters were being very careful. They didn't want to get together. And so we did have a streaming party for Buster Scruggs. And my daughters hadn't seen it before. My son-in-law hadn't seen it before. My daughters loved it. My son-in-law didn't. But we were able to comment, through texting throughout the film, and so that was a very good home video experience with it. But I still would have loved to see it on screen.
All right, well, the commenters will have to decide what qualifies in this question. I just figure I was like, it's a movie. It was made for TV. This works.
Yeah, I was thinking about Duel as well. Duel would have been a great choice here, but yeah, for a made-for-TV movie.
That's that. All right, guys, take a breath.
Yeah.
Collect your thoughts before we throw out some wild cards to you.
Yeah.
How you feeling so far?
I'm not sure what thoughts we're supposed to collect.
I know. I mean, it went by really fast, right? It's just there's only 2 of us, and there were 4 questions. I guess it could have been a bit more chaotic with one person.
You need to dig deep for these ones. And it's driving me crazy. I can't give an opinion on these questions as well. Listen, like, you're both wrong.
You can do that in the comments.
Yeah.
It's totally Darth Vader.
Tell us where we were wrong in the comments.
Hey, we said that we didn't go with the popular answers for some of these. Yeah.
Okay, so for this one, same deal. Last question. You guys can just get a few seconds to ponder it, think about it, and then you'll have 1 minute back and forth. So don't let her draw. Don't let her, talk on and on. Don't let him talk on and on, or you're not going to get your answer in. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see, find what the question is. So the first question is, what movie do you wish you could live in real life and why? Think about that for a second. And we will start now.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to go with Back to the Future. Just to have the experience of getting to see the past and the future, and yet still having the wonderful materialistic 80s lifestyle that Marty has at the end of the film. I would enjoy all those experiences, but then settle there at the end.
Probably a Wes Anderson movie, maybe Moonrise Kingdom. I'm trying to just pick one that's just very whimsical. Just gonna go with that. I mean, I think I could probably say that about most of Wes Anderson movies, unless
20 seconds.
Maybe not the Royal Tenenbaums, but I'll do that. Moonrise Kingdom.
That's all you get. 9 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's camp life, whimsical, French music, very picturesque. I don't know, very
Right.
witty people.
That's the end of that one. Okay, next question. I thought I paused that. Okay, next question. What movie taught you a life lesson you still practice? And go.
I think Tender Mercies is one of my favorite films, but also the currently working with addicts and ex-alcoholics and stuff. The film really taught me that you need to find a way to put an old life away and move forward. One of my favorite films.
All right, gonna be like super typical answer for me, but I'm also gonna say Seven Samurai again, because I think it really exemplifies like people underestimating who they consider the uneducated and the weak, and just essentially you underestimate someone just because they're not well aware of the world or the city life or what you are used to, living. And then you realize they're actually extremely pragmatic.
And time. Knew you were gonna go with that at some point. Every answer in the movie fights, LC. Seven Samurai.
Yeah, I'll just put some. You imagine I'll just do it for like every future one. One of them must win.
Eventually, it's going to win.
Someday.
Well, whoever it was can't get over that. Like Seven Samurai lost to Godzilla, right, for the best Japanese film.
That was
yeah.
King Kong. That's like your favorite movie, right?
I don't even remember
but it was
what it lost to.
best Japanese or best foreign film or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was King Kong one.
Okay.
All right, so I believe you can thank Text 929 for this one. It is, what is the sexiest scene in a film that is in no way explicit?
I'd go It's a Wonderful Life. When George Bailey and Mary are on the telephone talking to their hee-haw friend, and George wants out of there, but he smells Mary's hair. He thinks about her. He's torn. He says he doesn't want this life. He doesn't want to be married. He doesn't want anything. And yet he wants her. His passion is palatable. I'd go with that.
I have no idea. I can't think of one right now. Like
26 seconds.
I can't think of one.
All
I
right.
can't. So
How about giving one that
I guess we
has
know who won that
nudity
round,
and
huh?
sex? I don't know.
it's like nothing came to mind when you read that question. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think about scenes like that really.
Well, in the comments, you're going to have about a dozen movies that they're going to say you should have picked.
I know, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. I'm sure you'll have an answer for this one. What's the best movie to never win a Ricochet Movie Fight Club fight? 1 minute, go.
I'm going with The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, across the 8th dimension. Someday.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're gonna go with Seven Samurai because somehow it hasn't won, but there's been like obvious like times he should have won. Pretty easy, super influential movie, probably the most referenced like plot device you can think of, and get a band, a league together to
Quick, what
fight
are
for
the
the
films?
weak.
What are the films besides Magnificent Seven?
A Bug's Life,
Okay, another one.
Justice League. Really, honestly, anything that has league in its name is like Seven Samurai. But yeah, all right, go.
Yeah. But it should be Buckaroo. Yeah.
Buckaroo is like super popular Ricochet, so that's actually like very surprising that it hasn't won.
It still has. Vote.
She forgot the Three Amigos, but she did come up with two on the fly, so that was pretty good. All right. Next question. Which Ricochet member would you most like to go on a Ferris Bueller style day off with? And 1 minute.
Arahan.
And why?
Mainly because I feel like he knows like a bit of literally everything. That's what I like. That's what I picked up from Ricochet and reading his comments about everything. Can only imagine the kind of adventures or stories or lectures he would tell me about as we go on random adventures.
I'll go with Dr. Bashir, mainly because I could be over in Hawaii. But otherwise, again, a good storyteller. And if I get hurt, I have a doctor there. I do hate, I'm not a big fan of that film though. What they do to that car ruins the film for me.
There are tons of people on Ricochet who do not like Ferris Bueller, as you notice every like few fights, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. All right, so I think this is going to be our last question here. One more. What movie do you wish you had been a real life character in? Maybe a couple seconds to think about that.
Wait, what was the question? That you could be a real life
What
character?
movie do you wish you could be a real life character in?
All right, I'll go with this one. Pre-marriage, because my wife Mindy is the most wonderful woman in the world. I'm making that clear here. But prior to that, as a kid, I was in love with Marilyn Monroe in River of No Return. So if I could be Mitchum in that film, I'd be happy. I would have been a happy man.
I'm gonna go with Monty Python and the Holy Grail, just because I would just love to be in one of those extremely random excursions that they took, or even that random castle and all the women that they were at. Honestly, any of those scenes.
Can you be the rabbit? Do you want to be the rabbit?
Or just like a, yeah, oh my god, yes. Can I be one of the killer rabbits? Yeah, I'll take that too. Or I can ask them the questions. I can't like pretty much any of the scenes. I guess you could be like a historical character too and just do something absurd, but.
And that's all the questions I got for you guys.
All right.
How do you feel?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. We'll leave it up to you guys. So I want to thank LC and Eustace for coming on. You guys both have a bunch of wins under your belt. I think right now Eustace, I believe, has 8, if I'm correct. And LC has 7. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I've lost track of it. You're the one who keeps track of them.
Yeah. So we'll leave it up to the members. You guys fight.
So we haven't won in a while, right?
No.
Yeah.
And there is someone who leads us, but we're kind of like the competitors. We're the fighters that who are trying to get to where we could fight for the belt. Who is it that has the belt right now? Is it I Am Fine has the belt?
Yeah, I Am Fine's actually the top one right now.
So we're she doesn't have to take a fight. We're just trying to get the place where she would take us on. So
yeah,
maybe we'll do it again in the future. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been awesome for jumping on every Saturday morning. It's something I look forward to. It's something that makes the weekend just relaxing for me. Be able to just kind of enjoy that camaraderie and be able to get a bunch of new movies under my belt. And I've watched so many things that I never would have been exposed to had it not been for you guys and for all the rest of the guys in the club. So yeah, thanks for what you guys contribute. And that's all I got for today. That's all I got for this. You guys, anything else you want to say before we sign off to the members?
Well,
vote for me, obviously.
I was gonna say thank you for organizing and starting it in the first place.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I agree. It's like something to look forward to on Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning. And I love that like race to get your answer in, and then somebody beats you by like 30 seconds or a minute. And yeah. I know that's never not going to be funny for me. So
well, that's it for this one. And next week we'll be back to normal. We'll just fight number 101 will be like we always did. Whoever won fight number 99 will be choosing the question for fight number 101s. This is a special deal. But we also want to thank you guys. Just thanks for making time out of the day, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, thank you. Good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.